Welcome back to the Pick 199 podcast, episode 43, EPL weekend football results. Let's get straight into it. Muzzy, Snakeo, and Coxie are here.
Hey.
Saturday night Australian time, we had Spurs losing 3-0 to Crystal Palace. Is there anything better? Apart from Arsenal losing.
I'll tell you what, though, Crystal Palace played really well this game. I suppose it helped.
I hate to say I said it, but I said last week, Patrick Vieira, I think he's done an awesome job with Crystal Palace. They will upset some teams.
With that young team.
Not pick that it would be the next week.
Against one of the front runners.
Had a feeling that they would do it. Spurs, without Son, seriously, I think we talked about it last year even, like they talk about Kane. I think Son's the most important player on their team. Without him, they looked horrendous.
Well, they don't have any creativity in between them. Anywhere between that central mid role for like Dele Alli, between him and Kane, there's nothing. There's not that linking piece like Son.
No.
Yeah.
So, and we said it last week. Yeah. We said it last week when we did our tier list that if Spurs have one or two injuries or like Son missing, they're not the same team.
Oh, yeah. I think they're definitely going to suffer. And I think if Son has most of this season off, don't be surprised if they're down there with Arsenal this season. He's such an important piece. Like, that's nothing to take away from Crystal Palace. They were amazing. And just continue to play absolutely out of this world. I mean, with Zaha's just
that whole left side, Muzzy. That whole left side all game was just they were getting torched.
After that, he'll get a big contract at the end of this year. Yeah. And I feel sorry for Crystal Palace because I don't feel like there's any way that they can keep him.
They can keep him,
And it's sad because out of the whole Premier League, they were like the only team to give him a chance. After he had his big blow up and couldn't, wasn't starting for any high-end teams. They were the only ones that were willing to give him a chance. And it's sad if they lose him. But at the same time, if they get a massive price for him, why not?
Yeah. So I think the other thing we said last week too, like touching on what you said, Muzzy, was that this young team could galvanise or fall apart under Patrick Vieira.
Yeah.
And they're starting to galvanise. I know it's early in the season, but the way they're playing, just free-flowing football is just really good to see.
And Adaro, we did a piece on him on our Instagram page. If you check it out, he was sublime. Came off the bench, scored 2 goals in his debut. Sort of just came from Celtic, so from the Scottish League. Just sort of has had limited time in training, limited time with the team, and just came on and just did his stuff.
Yeah,
between him and Zaha, they just took control of the game easy.
Absolutely. Well, let's move on to Sunday's first game, Saturday night Australian time. Chelsea 3 over Aston Villa 0. Romelu Lukaku just continuing on that dominant run, and that central midfield of Chelsea is just creating so many chances. I think the problem for Aston Villa is when you lose someone like Jack Grealish that creates a lot of opportunities.
Yeah,
it's hard to regain that.
Yeah, and they did some buying, but it's really hard. You always, when you're a smaller club, you always want to pay unders as much as you can. It's super important that you pay unders, and teams know that, and so they know that what players they can pitch you, and so they've done some decent business. But it's going to be, I think, a tough season for Aston Villa, and we had them towards the bottom, towards relegation. And I think hopefully they can get some vitalising factors from those guys that they made trades for. But otherwise, I can't see much happening. But Chelsea just continue to fire like crazy. Kovacic had probably the best game I've seen him play. Even in a Real Madrid jersey, I don't think he played a game that well for Real Madrid.
No.
So no, he played awesome for Chelsea. So
absolute cracker. Let's move. There's not much else to say apart from Chelsea just looked pretty dominant in that game. Moving on to, so we had Wolves beating Watford 2-0.
No, we can't talk about Wolves. We talked about it so last year.
I thought you were telling us to stop the pod. I was like, what are you doing?
No,
Stanko. Last week,
don't jinx them.
No, last week. I'm talking about last week. I'm not talking about this week, so I can't jinx it if I'm talking about what happened before. Last week, we spoke about the game against United, and we said that Wolves looked incredible and were unlucky to put finishes together.
Yeah.
And then this week, they were actually able to do it.
Yeah. Able to finish it off.
I like that I haven't jinxed them enough that they get relegated.
Oh, now that you've said that.
He's done it.
That's it.
That Triaco guy though for Wolves again, Trincao, absolute monster. He might be their best player this season.
I was about to say he might be one of the signings of the season that.
And he's just started like his debut season. He's played a couple games, but he might be a better winger than Traore at this stage. The way he's playing is just you got to if you're watching a Wolves game, just sit and just watch him for a bit.
He's a lot
see
more
him on the ball, just absolutely ridiculous people apart.
He's a lot more calm on the ball compared to Traore, who's just pure physical like speed.
Yeah.
Moving on to the West Ham United versus Southampton game, pretty disappointing in terms of how West Ham played. 0-0 draw.
Yep.
Against a team that they probably could consider they should have won against.
Yeah. Southampton just set up to not lose, basically, and West Ham couldn't break it down. Antonio got a red card right at the end for a silly challenge. It was his second yellow. It was just silly.
It's just a silly challenge to start.
Yeah. Look, it's not much to say, but West Ham should have done better, like how they've been playing and last year as well.
They should have won that game, realistically.
Yeah, definitely.
On to the return.
Oh, the king.
Manchester United 4 over Newcastle United 1.
Tell you what, that was awesome watching that. Just felt like I was in a time machine going back to when he was playing for us when we were good, when we used to be really good. And I tell you what, the genetics on that man, he's a thoroughbred. I don't think he's aged since he left.
36 years old.
He's looking better.
Like he's 25.
Oh. He looks healthier and better now than he did when he left.
Yeah. But I tell you what, that was unreal. I felt I felt nervous for him, but like that first goal was just sort of a tap in, really.
Yeah.
Pretty lucky. It wasn't even a cross, really. It was sort of more of a shot, I thought.
Well, yeah, it was a deflection off the keeper. And
then it's just bob to him and he's put it away. And then his second goal was a lot better, taking it in his stride and just smashing it straight down, in between the legs of the keeper and into the net. So good to see him kick off his campaign with us with a brace. I was kind of hoping he'd get a third, but that's all right. Other boys chipped in, which was good.
Stop being so spoiled, toxic.
I will say the one thing that I got out of this game was like just the atmosphere at Old Trafford. Was just unbelievable. Like
so good having fans back.
Full capacity crowd, and then you've got like Sir Alex in the crowd, and also like Cristiano's mum was up in the grandstand. Even though Ronaldo was famously known for not wanting his mum to come to any of his games, but just the return and like just the atmosphere for that. I just can't believe that he was ever considered to go to Man City. I'm sorry, Muzz, but
I agree. I said to you boys when it happened, I think it was the right decision for him, and I think for the club, because I think it's not that he can't. I think he'll definitely take all the criticism and stuff in his stride. But I mean, for a player that moves around from like each different league, across the top 4 or 5 leagues, 3-4 years he's gone across, each of them. I think it was better for his career that when he did come back to one of the leagues that he'd stay with that particular team.
Yeah, exactly.
Regardless of how well they were doing or anything, I think for not only his legacy, but how he's perceived, and not only that, but the money that it would bring in to the Premier League, for example.
It's great for the Premier League.
Yeah.
In a world where there's no loyalty, to have loyalty, it just means more than it would ever.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
did you catch his comments after the game about the EPL and about the Premier League and how it is the top competition in the world?
League,
and it was really interesting to finally hear it from the horse's mouth. No one knows the level of competition better than he does around the world. And for him to say that, it carries more weight than if anyone else ever in the world had said that. So it's great for the Premier League.
I think when he did have his spell to Italy, I think he thought that he was going into a camp that was solely focused on basically winning the Champions League. He thought that their rivals were going to be competitive. He thought a lot of things were very different in Juventus. And I think he got all those perceptions from that game for Real Madrid against Juventus, where the Juventus fans clapped him and the rest of it. And then I think when he went over there, he sort of started to realise that it's still a developing league. Italy and Serie A was once, one of the best in the world, like top two easy. There was stages when it was better than the Premier League.
Back in that mid-2000s.
Yeah. When you had superstars, all the World Cup winners would come from there. All the Champions League winners would come from there.
Yeah.
It was one of the top flight. And then it went through this stage where the money's just dried up. So now they've got to get the youth back into vitalising the Serie A and then get it back up to the money where they can compete with the Premier League. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is too, just the creativity that Ronaldo brought to that front line. Just instant sort of I don't know. It's like he'd been playing there for the whole of last year, sort of thing. Creativity.
It seemed like the chemistry was there straight away, and I think him and Pogba. I love the way that Pogba. So Ronaldo was, I think there was 2-3 plays in a row where Ronaldo was pushing the play, he wanted the ball. And that was the most composure I've seen from Pogba, where he said, no, let's slow it down. We've got the lead. And then passed, came back, and it was open again, passed and came back until about the third time. And he actually played the ball over the top and Ronaldo got close to scoring. That was when he almost scored his first. It was one of the better games that Pogba's had at a holding midfield, where I feel like he'd felt like the weight was almost lifted off his shoulders, where he didn't have to do all the creative work. He didn't have to be the spark. He just needed to be the holding player, the player to hold up the ball, to move the ball.
They certainly had a lot of...
That was the biggest thing for him too, just being able to control the ball a lot more.
I had a lot of patience to that Newcastle
player.
Yeah, they had a lot of patience to that Newcastle defense. I feel like they did really well, that Newcastle defense. And just the fact that they would just knock it from side to side around looking for their way in without sort of just forcing a pass. So I think it's good signs. Pogba playing in there with Fernandes, that's really good. I think Matic did well, but I'd rather see Donny van de Beek in there. To be honest.
I think with the size with Varane and Maguire playing behind, I don't think you need Matic's size. I made the comment, I think that it's nearly the tallest team in the Premier League that they fielded then. And probably win all the headers, but you really don't need Matic's size if you're going to run Maguire and Varane and Pogba.
Well, especially when Matic is slow too. That's the other.
So, no, I think it was good to see at least Donny got a little bit of time. At the end.
I wish he got a bit more, but that's how it is. But I'm a bit worried though, boys. I think there were some signs there from Newcastle where it could have turned ugly for Ronaldo's return. It quite easily could have been 2-1 there at one point, Newcastle way, and then just those counterattacks they had.
Counterattacks. Well, if we talk about when they scored their first goal, though, too, like, I don't know what Maguire was thinking coming up that far and then going in for a sliding tackle when he should know that those players are really quick.
Yeah.
Like Maximin and Manquillo as well. So I think that was pretty poor from him, and I think Wan-Bissaka got caught out a couple of times as well on that.
I think Varane got caught out once as well. Just got turned, but
I think
that's a bit worrying.
Varane, he knows how to cover a bit better than
he does. He covers.
He's a lot quicker than Maguire and Matic. So
if he gets turned, it's not a big deal if Maguire gets turned because he can sort of catch them. But I think this has got to be an issue we might have all year. Like, I mean, you saw it with Wolves, where Wolves quite easily could have beaten us, and Newcastle here, they could have ruined this return. But I think it's something they need to sort of fix up, just how open we are to counterattacks.
Exactly. I think the other combination that you can be proud of, though, too, Coxie, is Jadon Sancho on that left edge with Ronaldo looked pretty good as well.
Yeah. It's like the young and the old. Sancho was good. He did well.
Yeah.
Just need some goals out of him. Would be nice.
That's it. Well, if you got Jay Lings to come on and score, good to see him back in red. Good to see him score a goal.
Good. Yeah.
Very good. Well, moving on to Manchester City versus Leicester City. Man City gets up 1-0. I didn't see this match, but Muzzy, you'd have all the
look, Vardy broke through at about 38th minute, I think it was, and scored, but he was offside. He had a couple of chances like that, but I think Pep had sort of tracked how he's going to play against Vardy. And so with the results, like from the FA Community Shield that we had at the start of the season and stuff, he'd sort of realised that you need to play a higher line. You need to force him to make the pass. So we actually, I think in this game, we gave up more fouls than we've given up in our first 3 games.
Wow.
Which was obviously, it was deliberately done and you could see it. So the plan was from Pep from the outset, if you lose the ball, 5-second retention, otherwise foul. And it worked. So it wasn't exactly what they were looking for, but at the end of the day, we had something like 70% possession, just playing the ball around and using it, and all that possession, and the results came to just using that 5-second rule or 3-second rule, whatever they're using, and then fouling. And so it helped in the end. I think Bernardo Silva just happened to snatch one, which is sort of what we're looking for in this game. Just looked a little bit sluggish. Jack Grealish was a little bit frustrated. Sort of first game where he couldn't impose his will. The first 2 games, and even in the Tottenham game, he was able to sort of impose his will a little bit more, take control of the game and make use of the game more. But yeah, apart from that, the Leicester City defense was just so organised at the back. They're going to be great again. Like, it was actually interesting listening, and I'll actually want to pose this question to you boys. Can you think of a Leicester City signing that has been bad? Has there been a player that they've overpaid for?
I think Sky Sports the other day did a breakdown of all the. I think I actually sent it to you guys. The breakdown of all the signings that they've done, but like the ones that they've let go and like how much of a profit they've made out of all these signings and stuff. So I don't think they've done
roster great.
Muzzy, I've got a question for you though too. Do you think that Man City is just struggling a bit without a proper striker?
Yes and no, because I feel like for Ferran Torres, he's got like 4 goals in 4 games or something at the moment, and that's club and country. So playing with Spain, and I think he can develop into it, but he needs time. And for me, I would rather they not throw that away. So I feel like if they bought a striker, he would sort of get tossed to the side.
Yeah.
Because we've got so many wingers. Gabriel Jesus again played on the wing. Raheem Sterling's coming off the bench after, scoring for England, I think twice.
It was great for
over
England.
the internet. Yeah, absolutely great for England. And it's a tough road thing to battle. And with Pep, he traditionally doesn't like to play a lot of world-renowned strikers.
Yeah.
He prefers a sort of Messi-esque player. And so they often talked about, when he was coaching Barcelona, if his role was switched to the Real Madrid job, would he struggle having Ronaldo? And I'd say the answer is pretty much close, because he sort of needs his striker to be a bit unselfish.
Yeah.
So I think he would do really well with, for example, a Liverpool team, because Firmino, he's a great player, but is willing to take a backbench sort of for Salah.
He's so unselfish
for Mane. Yeah. So I think in that sense it will work, but at the same time, for me, I'd prefer if we had a striker. I think we'd feel more clinical out there. But on the weekend, it's just the difference between not having Kevin De Bruyne out there. I know Bernardo Silva, he played well, but to have Kevin De Bruyne out there would have made such a big difference in that game in terms of attacking football. And I think having him there will probably provide more for Ferran Torres up front. And I think he can develop into a good striker.
Yeah.
A much better one than Gabriel Jesus anyway, who's playing out on the wing. But yeah, Bernardo Silva, I haven't been sold on since day one, since he got bought. Even though he scored the goal and he tried to take control of the midfield. Fernandinho came on with about 10 minutes or so and had three clear key passes to create chances straight away.
Yeah.
And he came on as a centre defensive mid. So it's a bit touch and go, but I definitely think every team could benefit from a world-class striker, and I wouldn't have said no to Ronaldo. So
yeah,
I don't think I can, say we don't need one. But yeah, I think it might come to games like this where it might end up, as a 1-0 scoreline, as opposed to in previous years where we would have put with Aguero on, we would have put a couple more past them, which we just weren't able to do in this. But we were able to grind it out. It was a really grindy game.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Jesus is more really like a false nine. He's not really not really an out-and-out striker. So,
but he's playing awesome on the wing this season, and I really don't think they should get rid of him, because at the moment he's definitely competing for Sterling's spot, and at the moment he's keeping him out of the squad because he's playing that well. And Sterling came on in the last 20 minutes or so. He looked good, but just lacked that little bit of sharpness. And I don't know if that's game time or not. So,
what do you think that might also be the international break too? So.
Yeah. Well, it's our bench was stacked on the weekend. We had Phil Foden on the bench as well. Sterling was on the bench. Kevin De Bruyne, John Stones was on the bench. We had a lot of our players stacked onto the bench on the weekend, and I think it was probably for the upcoming Champions League game.
Yeah,
which wasn't a bad shout, I think. So,
not very good. Well, good win for Man City. Moving on to Brighton over Brentford, 1-0.
Pretty much anyone could have won the game. Brighton happened to pull it out at the end. I think we had both of these teams pretty low down. I think Brighton's season's in much more trouble than what it's showing at the moment. So,
yeah, I think so too. In terms of their depth, you think of, they really don't have that much to offer, and they've always been on the brink of relegation too. So, I'm not expecting much from them this year. Moving on to Arsenal 1 over Norwich City 0. I mean, should have been expected for Arsenal to win. I don't think they didn't look great, and that's about it.
Yeah, I think they were very, very lucky to come out with a win in this game. Just like they're lucky in most of their games. But Aubameyang happened to pull it out at the end. Interesting enough, one of the I think it was on Optus Sport. One of the hosts said, "But it's okay. Norwich have got a bit of an easy run in their schedule now," and then brought up that they're playing Arsenal next. But I think we agreed that Norwich is probably going down this season. It's going to be tough for them to be competitive, as the Premier League seems to be getting more and more competitive now. I think we're seeing a lot better teams step up from the Championship. Leeds, great example from last season, and that they'll continue to play on well.
And Wolves from a few years ago. It's not like a one-off.
Wolves, Watford haven't been bad. There's quite a few teams that are coming up now that are putting some real pressure on those middle clubs.
And hopefully once Arsenal get relegated, when they come back with the same sort of vigour.
Be revitalised.
Like a bit of a Leicester kind of vigour.
Come back, win the league. Go back, take some time, rebuild yourself, find your identity, come back stronger.
Very good. We'll move on to today's game. Liverpool 3 over Leeds United 0. Good win for Liverpool. That's all I have to say about Liverpool.
We'll take it. Good win. The sad story coming out of it is the 18-year-old Harvey Elliott. That ankle is not in the right position. So it's really sad for him. Pretty cool story I seen come out of it. When he went to the hospital, there was an young kid and a massive Liverpool fan sitting there with both his arms broken, and he got his jersey and his boots because he was in the bed right next to him. So that was pretty cool. But Liverpool, just keep on winning, baby. Here we go.
What a poor result, really, for Leeds United too, considering that we were giving them pretty good props last week, based on their lineup. They're yet to sort of beat or at least draw with a top 4 side. So it's going to be interesting how the rest of their season plays out. But other than that, good win for Liverpool.
Yeah, I think Leeds is going to be very interesting because of the style that they play. Sometimes it can play into a lot of the big teams' hands because they play such an open, free-flowing game. So against the likes of Liverpool, even Manchester United now, especially with Ronaldo on the counter-attack, that's super dangerous because Leeds do like to commit so many players forward and like to play that fluid game. I can just picture, them running through, Pogba picking up the ball and just sending it straight through to Ronaldo. It's guaranteed to give you a goal out of 3 chances at least.
And it's not going to work against teams like Liverpool who have Van Dijk and Matip at the back.
Yeah, and same thing. Yeah, same thing with Fabinho picking up the ball in the midfield, playing it through to either Salah or Mane.
Yeah.
That's going to be hard to stop.
There's not too many people that run a fast break better than Mane and than Salah. They're both very good.
Just before you go into the Champions League, sorry, Roscoe,
can
you just go back onto that Liverpool team for me, and just go into the lineup? And I just wanted to get Snake, your thoughts now that Harvey Elliott's down. So you guys are down another midfielder.
Yeah.
Any ideas about how you want to cover that? If you want to just go into the substitutes and midfielders,
keep scrolling.
Let's go. Yeah.
Man, I don't know. There's options maybe a James Milner or someone can fill in a spot temporarily.
Yeah.
They've got options. Maybe James Milner.
Yeah.
Well, Alex,
We've got Jordan Henderson.
Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably start with him.
Yeah. It's only because, like we spoke about it last week, because at the moment Liverpool just seems so thin, and Thiago, obviously it's going to be, I think, a tough bounce back, especially so now with Harvey Elliott out and with the limited midfielders that are going to the Champions League this week. Which I think it's going to be tough going in, because I think your forwards are right, because Mane and Salah and Firmino did backups nearly every time, like every week when he's won the Champions League. So I don't think that will be an issue. You got enough defenders now with the couple of signings the signing that he's made with Conte and Joe Gomez.
The advantage you get in any sport, if you have a year that's affected by injury, you get an ability to test your depth and get experience to people that wouldn't normally get experience. So it is going to be helpful having those players that have had a little bit of experience last year that can come through and help us out. But there's still a fair bit of experience there. Like Curtis Jones was really good for us last year. He's a person that like you potentially look at that was really advantaged last year with injury. Because he got to come up and he had some really good touches and he had some really good games for us. So, there's a mix of experience and youth in that bench, especially in the midfield. So, it's just funny that last year it was defenders that we were desperately crying out for, and now it's midfielders. And I was sort of at times a little critical that I thought we had too many midfielders and not enough defenders. So, how quickly the pendulum can swing. So.
We spoke about that. I think that Wijnaldum trade had sort of, he left, but him leaving and had really left a big impact because he played so many minutes last season and the season before. I think it's a big loss to lose him because he was just that player that could just slot in anywhere in the midfield. He could do your job in centre defensive mid. He could do your job in centre mid and a job in centre attacking mid.
And do your job in a Champions League semi-final too.
Yeah.
I think it would have been like how Chelsea picked up, was it Saul?
So
I think it would have been much better for Liverpool to get Saul. I mean, you think of Chelsea's midfield is pretty stacked when you say Roscoe, like the sort of depth.
I don't think we have enough midfielders, mate.
Roscoe, actually, speaking of Sol, I actually forgotten about Sol. Thanks for bringing him up, Coxie. Roscoe, what are your thoughts on him, mate? He had a bit of he struggled a bit in that game.
Yeah, he did struggle a fair bit in that game. I wonder whether or not it's like that change of league, change of pace for Premier League. Premier League's a lot more tough in terms of defense and attack. So I think it might just take him a few games to get used to it. I think Tuchel said after the game too that he'll probably start him off the bench for the next few games just to get him in the rhythm of the Premier League. So realistically, I wasn't expecting, like I've already been burnt before by expecting too much out of players that we've signed. So I think it's just going to take a little bit of time for him to readjust.
Very good. And we just have the Everton game tomorrow. Interesting.
So by the time this pod goes out, it will have been played. So
that's right. Yeah.
Now Everton have won 2-0.
Well, I'm expecting Everton to pull out a win here.
Congratulations, Everton, on their 2-0 win.
And
with that, Stako's cursed them again.
Burnley with a 1-0 victory.
Very good.
So we'll have a quick look at the Champions League groups. They got announced, and we'll quickly just go through them. Just have a look at how each team shaping up, and we'll go from there. All right. So Group 1. I was so happy that we got drafted into the group of death. That was good. Because we do so well in the Champions League. So City's got PSG, RB Leipzig, and Club Brugge. So it was either going to be City, Chelsea, or United that would be in this group of death. and we drew the short straw.
The best team got the club of death, mate.
Yeah.
Mate, if you're going to win the Champions League, you've got to beat everybody. That's how it works.
So it'll be. I think it'll be a super entertaining group, and I can't wait to see the games that come out of it. They're going to be some cracker games, and I can't wait to see PSG with Messi and Mbappe and Neymar firing and also
Ramos as well.
Yeah, Ramos and Wijnaldum now, and Donnarumma, and the list goes on and on and on.
We'll just be happy that they won't be getting Pogba soon, mate.
Yeah.
Pogba might actually stay at Man U.
Yeah, well, I think at this rate, how well Pogba's playing, I don't know if they'll be able to afford him. So
true. Group B, we have Atletico Madrid, Liverpool, FC Porto, and Inter Milan. AC Milan, sorry.
AC Milan, yeah.
I'm relatively happy with this. I'm all right. I feel quite content. I think Liverpool can be successful in this group, and I think we can make
until they lose to Atletico Madrid 1-0.
Yeah. Look, Atletico's scary after they won the La Liga last year.
Atletico is, but
they looked really good this season. I think
you can discount Porto as well. I mean, they sort of went pretty far last year as well in the Champions League, where they were playing Chelsea there. But I mean, Milan's just Milan, aren't they?
They're not the Milan of old.
No,
but they are starting to get super competitive in Serie A. So I think it'll be a lot more competitive than what we expect. But I think Liverpool should come out.
I just think them losing Donnarumma is probably too much.
Massive. That's massive.
He's huge for them.
Yeah.
Group C, we have Sporting CP, Borussia Dortmund, Ajax, and Besiktas.
Yeah, what a group. Dortmund finishes top easy.
Yeah.
Haaland averages 9 goals or something. That's basically the wrap up of the group stage for this group.
And Ajax get through on pity points.
Yeah. Ajax will probably come in second. Sporting haven't really made a significant move since Ronaldo left.
No.
What was that, 20 years ago or something?
Was that where Bruno Fernandes came from as well?
Yeah, Bruno Fernandes is from there. João Moutinho from there as well. They produced a lot of Portuguese talent, really good Portuguese talent. So it's interesting that most of the Portuguese talent seems to come from them, and not any of the other teams in the Portuguese league. Considering like there's a lot of teams that are like competitive in the Portuguese, like Porto. We don't see a lot of super good Portuguese players coming from them. So, but yeah, I think Dortmund's wrapped that up pretty easily.
Yeah, very good. Group D, we have Inter Milan, Real Madrid, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Sheriff.
Yeah.
I've never heard of Sheriff. Where are they from?
Yeah, neither have I.
It's the American import.
Yeah, so they're a secondary team that's come in. So through the playing rounds. So I think it's their first time in the Champions League in general. I think. I don't even think they've participated in the playing rounds before. So
they're my dark horse. I think they could take it.
Well, obviously they've had a decent season if they've made it into.
They're in good form, mate. This is the best the club's ever gone. So they're looking all right.
Yeah. So they're from the Moldovan league, by the way. Just so
a lot of good footy coming out of there. A lot of good footy.
Yeah, so expect some big results from Real Madrid and Inter Milan against them.
It's there for the taking for both of them, really.
I think so. Shakhtar Donetsk are competitive, but they've sort of lost that edge since last 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So Group B.
Group B, we have Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Benfica, and Dynamo Kiev.
Same thing.
Two decent teams and then two there.
Yeah. I think that's the order they finish. I'm sorry.
I would say so as well.
Yeah. As much as Barcelona has troubles, I don't think Benfica will make it competitive. I think it will be rather close between Benfica and Barcelona just because of Barcelona's financial issues.
Issues in general.
Managing the club just horrendous.
They're in the poo bin.
Yeah, so But yeah, I think Snake or Roscoe, whoever it said, is right. However, it looks up now is how it's going to finish.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Group F, we have Villarreal, Man United, Atalanta, and Young Boys.
Coxie.
The young boys are playing well. Look, I don't know, United, we sort of struggle a little bit against these Spanish teams. And you only have to look at us in the Europa League. Like, I mean, I think it was Sevilla that we were playing them in the final, and they obviously won it.
Yeah.
And it was, United were the favourites. So, but in saying that, we do have Cristiano now, and he's like with the Champions League. So, I mean, we've got
Could this be the year? Could this be the year for United?
Oh, I'm not sure, mate. I think it's exciting, but I don't know. There's a lot of good teams.
You think it's the closest United will come has come up until now?
Yeah, well, obviously, I mean, last 2 years have been the Euro League, like it's Europa League. So, I think it will be. Yeah, 100%. Last time we were this good in the Champions League, Ronnie was there.
Yeah.
So, but Atlanta are pretty good, and Villarreal, I think, will be good as well. But I think we might top this one.
You got a good group. If you're going to have a crack, I think this year's as good as
the group to do it in.
Yeah.
And this group will actually help you guys with the Premier League as well.
Yeah. I mean,
because you'll see Ollie doing a lot of makeshift changes throughout this process because it's a relatively weak group compared to most of them.
Yeah.
So I think it will definitely help you guys not only in the Champions League but also in the Prem.
Yeah.
See where I'll do the opposite to Man City. It's going to hurt you everywhere.
Yes.
No, very good. Group G, we have Lyon, Seville, Salzburg, and Wolfsburg. This looks like the stinker group of the Champions League.
Yeah. That first one's Lille. Roscoe too. Yeah. So look, it is definitely a stinker group. Lille coming off an amazing win in the French league last year. I don't think that's going to happen this year. So they're going to be looking for some semblance of hope. But look, whoever gets out of this, Wolfsburg haven't been in the Champions League for a while now and haven't looked competitive really in Bundesliga. So look, it's going to be, I think, Salzburg and the Lille and Seville. Look, they're all just going to have a fight, and whoever gets out of it is just going to get beaten in the next round.
Just hope you're drawn, really.
I can't think,
that's basically what's going to happen.
You have to think there's some big dollars, though, to get out of your group stage.
Oh, yeah.
For these teams, I think that's going to be huge. So I reckon this might even be the most exciting group you could probably watch.
Well, I think this, for these teams, if you're a supporter of one of those teams, you've got to be the most excited you've been in a long time. Just to imagine that amount of money that you're going to get for getting out of the group stage. Like that's for these clubs, that's changing money that maybe it's going to lead them into coming into Champions League nearly every year.
If a player can step up in these teams and get their club into it, money, for everyone.
Very good. Group H, we have Chelsea, Juventus, Zenit, and Malmo. I think it will just pretty much finish like that if I'm being truly confident about the boys.
Back yourself, mate. Back yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
I have to say, for Juventus, now that Ronaldo's gone, it will be a different lineup now that Dybala is probably going to get all of the game time now. So it'll be interesting to see what they'll have left over with him, because he really didn't play a lot of game time compared to what he did before. With Ronaldo moving into the squad, they just didn't seem to gel. So they sort of just went, we're going to go with Ronaldo. And it'll be interesting to see what they have left over with Dybala and how that plays out in the group. It's a good group for Juventus and a good group for Chelsea.
No, I agree.
Very good.
Well, that's our wrap up of the EPL and Champions League. End of episode 43. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Peace out.